Hey everyone, my name is Michael, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new Halo Infinite beta that released about 3 days ago or so. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of good things to talk about and some bad things as well. And today we're going to be diving in and exploring those. For a game like Infinite, it's really important to have really good gunplay, and 343 Industries has done spectacular in capturing both the Halo essence of Halo 2 and Halo 3, and the new modern shooter. The fire rate, everything just feels natural, while also new at the same time. All the maps seem to flow pretty well. I've played, I think, a majority of them, or all of them, and they all feel pretty good within their own game mode. Some are better than others and are personally my favorite. But most of them are pretty awesome from what I've seen. The time to kill feels pretty familiar to someone like me who has played all the Halos and really enjoys them, but doesn't feel excruciatingly long either, like some people may feel like it does. And then the character models and the textures look great. The aesthetic is captured greatly in Halo Infinite. Halo is back for sure. The sound design is absolutely stellar. Every weapon feels even more unique, not just by the model, but by the sound it makes. And you'd think that would be an obvious, but sometimes most guns can sound the same, but in this game they all have unique sounds, and it's pretty awesome. Another thing that's really awesome, the power weapons feel incredible. There is one issue though, and here comes the issues. The energy sword in this game is probably the worst looking energy sword in any Halo, in my opinion. That's a nitpick. But back to the pros, the gravity hammer is incredible in this game. It actually feels kind of different, because in most other Halo games it just felt like an alternative to the energy sword, but in this game it really has character. The music is amazing. I am a huge fan of this new direction towards a more rock heavy, post-rock kind of alternative kind of thing, and I used a lot of labels there, but it's definitely new, and I think it really represents the new era in the multiplayer, as they've really tried to push that. The animation polish as well is really great. It's really welcome. Every little detail in all the new weapons, especially seeing the Spartans kind of interact with Forerunner and Covenant weaponry and feeling kind of unfamiliar with it, which makes sense, and it really feels great. But then you pick up like a sidearm or a sidekick, I think it's called, and it's just like the flow is insane because they've worked with it so much, the Spartans have. So it's really cool to see that. There's a video by LateNightGaming that really explains and delves into the animation and the style of which Infinite takes to express that. It's an awesome video that really goes in depth and shows you everything. A 12v12 big team battle is awesome. It just feels it really feels like big team battle is finally in a place where it's really comfortable. I'm excited to see maybe heavies return. I think that was in all the Halo games, but I know for a fact it was in Halo Reach, and that was my favorite big team battle mode. Support for lower end hardware also seems to be something that has been really pushed hard in this beta. While there are some optimization tweaks that need to happen, I was able to play with a lot of friends who had lower end hardware, and that's really awesome, because if a game is free to play, it needs that blood supply of players, and limiting or keeping it at such a high hardware requirement keeps it from really competing with some of the other titles in the industry. Now there are some pretty big cons, not as many. There are a lot of pros, a lot of tiny pros within Halo Infinite, and then there's some 2 or 3 big cons for me. One of the biggest one that most people are familiar with is the progression system. The progression system right now is pretty bad. For example, I could go 30 and 10 in a map or in a match, and I won't get any XP. The only way to get XP for your battle pass that you pay for, which is fine,
Paying for a battle pass is fine. But the only type of XP that you get is from challenges. And sometimes those challenges are really tedious, and they'll literally just duplicate and then give them a number, and it's just that. It feels very repetitive in a way, and it's not as natural as like the other Halo progression systems. There also is some wonky matchmaking behavior, but that happens with every new release, and there are so many factors involved, especially since I'm playing with people on Xbox while being on PC. There could be some cross-play stuff. An example of this is just like not being able to back out of the menus, or like just dropping out of games or whatever. But that comes, and that's not really that big of an issue. If you play games online, that's just a common thing. But there is one thing that really like strikes me personally: the UI. Now, I personally like the UI in game. I think it looks pretty nice to me. It satisfies all my needs. But the UI in the menus, in the main menu, is pretty awful. An example of this is when you're queued up with a squad, and let's say your friend joins and they're not in your squad yet. There is no like obvious way to like just quit queue. Apparently you have to hold T, and it tells you that like right before for like a millisecond or like a few seconds, and I'm not going to notice that because it's the bottom right of my screen. It would be really awesome if there was some way to see that in a better way. I think this is a really, really, really good step forward in a franchise that's really needed it. Halo Wars 2 kind of sprinkled in some things where it's like, yeah, we understand now like what you guys want in terms of aesthetic, but there's so much more that you got to do, and I feel like Halo Infinite really does that. It's both fresh for new players, as the speed of the game is pretty fast for a Halo, but nothing too uncomfortable for old Halo players. And as someone like me who really played a lot of Reach and 3, it's a really good combination. It really, really feels like Halo now has an identity that is its own, but also has like some familiarity for new players. Now, there's obviously a lot to improve on. I think Playable Elites is a huge thing that I think should come back. I don't see why not. If we can do it in 2007, I think we can do it now. And I think that kind of like limits a lot of things. I just don't think is really something that shouldn't be limited. I think Playable Elites really improve the experience. You can have Invasion like in Halo Reach, which was an awesome game mode. It was like insane. I'm super duper excited for Forge when that releases. It's a shame it won't release day one, but obviously things happen, and that's totally fine. If it's anything like Halo 5's Forge, it's going to be amazing. This will be like the culmination of so many years of work just put into one revised Halo aesthetic with really great Forge from 5. It's going to be really, really awesome, and I'm super duper excited for that. But besides that, Halo Infinite definitely has a lot to show still, and I think we're just getting started in this new era of Halo, and it's a great step in the direction. As someone who has like the books right behind me and who has played Halo since I was like 9 or 4, something like that, it's really great to see Halo get put onto the forefront, and it still has a lot of character that is familiar. And I think that's a good thing. I think that really is a strength of Halo. Just being like, you pick it up, you know what it is, but you like will pick up a power weapon or a new weapon. You're like, whoa, what is this? And you use it, and you're like, oh, this is like now my new favorite weapon. And you haven't played in like 10 years. I think that's really cool. So if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I know this was a little ramble, and it's the first time I've ever done this. Give me feedback down below. I'll try to post a Halo Infinite video almost every week if I can. If you want to add me, socials down below. Thank you 343 for all of you done all the work and the work you will put in. I hope that the community is warm to you and gives you, the support and the acknowledgement that you need. Thank you, and thank you for watching. Peace out.